So more and more outlets, like say Sci-Fi Channel, for example, have been picking agenda over the quality of programming for years. And you know what? When they do that, shows they fail, and the channel they can't figure out why. Take the example of Vagrant Queen, which we're going to be talking about today. That couldn't be sold as comic books, but they decided to pick it up because of, hey, agenda. And you know what? It's failing. Not only is it failing, but it's performing so dismally that the Sci-Fi Channel, they probably won't pick it up again. My question is, why pick it up in the first place? If it can't have success in the comic book realm, what makes you think it's going to have success this way? Did you buy into the loudest voices on Twitter, thinking that mattered somehow? So hey there. So today we return to that wonderful world of hard-hitting questions. But before we get started, May 15th, 2020, we are launching our second comic book. There's a sign-up sheet in the description. Sign up and end up purchasing. You'll get an exclusive trading card that way. No other way to pick that up. This is the way we avoid sponsors. This is also the way we take the mainstream to task. We create something new, and we create something more fun. So yeah, check that out, and thank you in advance. So this is an article from Bounding Into Comics. If you haven't checked them out, you definitely should. Talking about Sci-Fi's Vagrant Queen adaptation posts lowest ratings of the first season. Now, if you haven't checked out Sci-Fi in a while either, and you're thinking Battlestar Galactica and old cheesy movies, yeah, everything has been a-changing on that channel. If you check out Sci-Fi Wire, that's their newsletter, particularly the fangirl area, you can see what they push now. They push politics. They push, hey, those are the wrong types of fans. Everything but what they should be pushing, entertainment. And you know what that does? It kills platforms. Now, one of the things that they picked up while doing this is Vagrant Queen. It couldn't sell as a comic book. It was dismal, and I mean dismal in sales, but that didn't matter. Loud people on Twitter with an agenda are welcome, and yeah, you know how that turns out? It turns out as garbage, and I mean absolute garbage ratings. Now, before we look at that, the one thing that should be a dead giveaway to what kind of show this is the Rotten Tomatoes score, particularly from critics. If you look at that critic score, you see a 100% consensus, and that, it just doesn't exist when you get over 3 users, unless you're talking about something that is agenda-driven. And by God, this is definitely agenda-driven. See, what's amazing about that, too, when you look at the scoring and you consider how the scoring reflects versus how you see that at 100% consensus, this here, it says quite a bit. You have Donnie Lopez with Black Nerd Girls talking about this being a rating of 3.5 out of 5. Still, that fits in with the 100% consensus, and they tell you that the reason it's good enough to watch is because the show frames female empowerment, sexuality, and loyalty above all else in a universe filled with uncertainty. Fun times. Sounds like really that escapism I remember. Doesn't it sound like it to you? So in the article from Bounding Into Comics, they remind you right off the bat, one of the people that is responsible for this, and I'm going to go into a little more detail in just a second when we get there. So Sci-Fi's Vagrant Queen, which is an adaptation of a Vault comic series by Mags Vissagio and Jason Smith, posted its lowest ratings of the premiere season. Mags Vissagio. Let me remember. Who is that? Oh, yeah. So this is a person, because of their identity, they decided to go out and to threaten other people that are not like them, saying that you better get ready for a baseball bat to the teeth. If you're not like me, then, and that's absolutely insane. Can you imagine working at a company like, say, a Marvel or a DC, IDW, or Image, and keeping a job after saying that? Because I certainly can't, and I know that Sci-Fi, they wouldn't roll out the welcome wagon for me, that's for sure. So I'm done with this. It starts out, so F you. Oh, so nice. F cis a-holes. So you see the descriptor there. Hey, 90+% of the population, yeah, F you people. F your BS. Get ready for a baseball bat to the teeth. Like I said, if I ever said anything like that in association, especially with my jobs, I would not have one anymore. Then you can see we're calling for revolution. Y'all are on notice. So again, that is definitely a threat. Then you have other people coming in talking about baseball bats and on. And this is just one example of many of the type of person that sci-fi decided, we want to recruit. So we're going to look at a description of the show before we get into the ratings. And I want you to remember something. I want you to remember how the critics talked about it, because I know what I would expect from, say, a sci-fi channel, the old one. And if I were reading this, that might sound like that, versus, again, what I know that they're trying to push. So the series follows former child queen, we're just going to say E, as she goes on the run after her mother was shot and killed by Commander L, the man who also brought down the Empire. However, E's mother apparently did not die and is still alive. After a life scavenging the wilderness, E teams up with a man named Isaac and an optimistic mechanic named A in order to rescue her mother. The rescue mission requires E to break into a heavily guarded area of space that E's family once ruled. Not only does E have to rescue her mother, but she will encounter cannibalistic aliens, dangerous planets, shootouts, karaoke, and parking tickets that will complicate her journey and bring her closer to falling into the clutches of L and his forces. So like I said, that sounds like one of those old shows. But again, remembering why they picked up things and on, I think a lot of people, they just aren't interested anymore. So this is where the ratings come from. And I want you to think about something right now. People have nothing to do in the current social situation. You would think ratings for shows like this, they would actually go through the roof. In some shows, they have. But shows like this, again, you see what the drive versus the description of it. People, when they tuned in at the beginning, it didn't get good word of mouth, and it just kept falling down. So they note on here, in the past year, Sci-Fi has canceled or ended most of its scripted TV shows. Now the channel has introduced a new one called Vagrant Queen. How will it perform in the ratings? Can it survive? Will Vagrant Queen be canceled or renewed for season 2? Stay tuned. They go through a description. You and I are going to skip there. Now remember, with this, the most important demographic to secure are your 18 to 49-year-old demographic. The others, they're important as well, but that's what's going to keep your show alive. So if you look at the first episode, you have a 0.10 for your demographic size there, and viewers by the millions. You don't have a million, you have 375,000. So that again is your initial turnout. By the second episode, your demographic has dropped to 0.06. That's a 40% drop, and the viewership has gone from 375,000 to 310,000, a drop of 17.33%. By episode 3, you have a drop off again. You have a drop off to 0.04. That's 33.33% drop off, and your viewership, it has gone down another 32.9%. You're talking from 310,000 to you've dipped not only down into the 200,000s, but you're getting close to 100,000 now. That scares people who put it together. Now, when you get down to these low numbers, your demographic will change back and forth sometimes. It actually has a bit of a rebound, a 25% rebound, because one number ticks back up. But during that fourth, the numbers, they continue to drop off in viewership to 182,000. So by fourth episode, you've gone from 375,000 to 182,000, which again, from episode to episode, is a negative 12.5% drop. Fifth episode, you see another reduction here. We're back down to our 0.04, so we've lost any gain, and we're looking at the numbers for viewership dropping down to 168,000. So again, it's getting really, really low. Now you have a rebound in viewers by episode 6. It jumps back up to what you saw with episode 3. So maybe you're having a little bit of a viewer rebound, but that demographic that keeps your show alive, it continues to plummet, telling you, that show, it is definitely going to get canceled. Now, if you're sitting there asking, that Umbrella Guy, where does that compare with other sci-fi shows? Well, it's the bottom of the heap. You can look at this, too, and what's really telling is look at how many seasons other shows have gotten to get to the numbers that they're at. They've been around quite some time. Vagrant, this is its first season. People should be pumped up about it, but they're not. They're absolutely not. Because again, this wasn't brought in on merit. It was brought on something else, and that something else, it's just not working out. I mean, if you look at like Winona Earp, that's another show that's been brought in as a comic. You have season 3 here. It was renewed, and you can look at its numbers and what it maintains versus Vagrant Queen, what it's maintaining as an average right now. And you notice those numbers that we're seeing, they have dropped off from there, and they have dropped off to the bottom of the heap. So yeah, I mean, when you're looking at this stuff and you see what agenda gets you, it gets you absolutely nowhere. Maybe sci-fi could wake up to that fact as they continue to lose more viewership, but I doubt it. All of these places, I doubt it. And even if they do, I don't really care to watch anything from them because by now they made it perfectly clear that it's agenda over audience, and I don't tune into that stuff. But anyway, you tell me what you think about this. Me, I think it's kind of funny, but like I said, you tell me what you think. So May 15th, 2020, brand new comic book with That Umbrella Guy, Little Umbrella Girl. That's my daughter, by the way. She's the reason I put this stuff together because it allows us to challenge the mainstream. We get to go around sponsorship, and there's the added benefit of being able to do something for family and something for you folks as well. So check that out. And also make sure if you had any problems with the first campaign, check Indiegogo, check your tracking number on that. Any problems, write us. We'll fix them. Hey, that's what we do. But anyway, I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you'll sign up, check out our new stuff. But if you don't, if you enjoy it, you want to be here, you just showed up, that's you spending your time. That matters too. So thank you. I appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.